to the first episode of
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to a grand opening of Sincerely My Paramour podcast. I'm your host, Rosalind Perkins, and today we have a great episode for you today. Great grand opening. Are women with high sex history, wife material, and cuckold. The reason why we talk about both of these two things is because they both go together no matter if we think about it or not. Um, Give me 1 second. Let me see if everything is good. Let me see if this came out good. All right, sweet. I'm sorry about this morning. It. Oh shoot! Give me a second. Please change. Has ended up with. Damn, he's dead. He ain't. Yeah, he ain't getting up. I do want to say this. I want to thank y'all for who participated in the first show. I'm sorry that it went offline. My son was playing with the Wi-Fi and turned it off, so I had to uh, reconnect it. So yeah, it was a big one, man. I actually had a great time with y'all. So definitely, we're gonna do more of these shows. If you don't know who I am and you don't watch my first show, my name is Rosalind Perkins. When I turned 19, 20, maybe even 21, I traveled around the world in the United States. I have seen a lot of things. I have dealt with a lot of things. But one thing I have dealt with was the sex world. I never was an escort nor any type of like stripper or anything, but I did, participate in a few entertainment, so what things that you do here are you hearing now, people have been doing for years, even before I was born, and I just turned 40. So definitely I will give you my perspective about things and how certain things go. Give me 1 second. So yeah, you will hear a lot from me and about certain things in a certain environments. The reason why hold on 1 second, important text. So, and I'm gonna say this: you usually hear me talk about politics and music and all that cool stuff, but you will hear me talk about life experiences. Me per se, I'm separating most of this stuff because at the end of the day, I want another channel just channeling this stuff because I feel like this stuff hasn't really been talked about, and this is the best time to talk about it. Um, Give me 1 second, everyone. But yeah, you like I said, you'll see a lot more of me, and you'll see a lot more of me and topics like this on this show. So the show is called Sincerely My Paramour. And also how I got the name Sincerely My Paramour was this: I used to be a paramour, or a mistress, as we say. I was a professional mistress, if you really want to get down to it. I had a few clients. I done it for 3 to 4 years. I know people who have done it longer, but me, I did it 3, 4 years because the last client I had, she inspired me to go to college. So I went to college and went to school for web development and entrepreneurship at Bunker Hill University, Bunker Hill Community College. I partied at universities. That's why I say that. But hold on. Hold on 1 second. Yeah. So again, I'm sorry for the people who usually used to all the the chaos and stuff. So we're gonna try to do something a little bit different. So if you can still support it, that would be good. But if this isn't your cup of tea, thank you anyways. I will still do the Bronze Reaper podcast for y'all. So that's I'm gonna be personally honest. Bronze Reaper podcast is my bread and butter, but this one right here, I want to connect to other groups of people. So I will be doing probably two podcasts a day, just about. Um, yeah, just about two podcasts a day. This I will do for like 2 hours and 2.5 hours. But my other podcast I usually do 3.5 to 4 hours. So you'll start to understand and see. Um, I might say this. Shout out to the adult entertainers, sex workers and stuff like that, because I know those jobs aren't easy, but I understood the jobs because I befriended them a lot on my way to what I do now. So they did help me out. They are good people. They probably hyper sexual, but they're great people, especially having conversations with them other than like sex and gang bangs and orgies and stuff like that. We had great conversations. Yeah, it's looking good actually. Screen's looking good and stuff. Yeah. I also want to say most of the stuff that I do talk about is mostly experience, not really statistics. I really don't do statistics because not everybody's gonna be a part of that statistics. So like me, I was never a part of that statistics when it came to like what we talk about now. Um, would I deny a girl because she's over sexual? Yeah, absolutely. And the reason why, because there's certain things I don't do and I would not have done to me. I met girls who like toss salad, as we say, or eat ass. I don't eat ass, nor I'm gonna have anybody eat my ass. I do have a moral compass, so that's why I say certain things I probably would turn out, but most likely a personality is pretty dope. And yeah, give me a second. So I will take 30 seconds to go get a cup of coffee, but I do want to get this started. I'll go in like 15 minutes. Um, I do want to say this. I have met a lot of great adult entertainers in my fair share. They all older now. They probably got kids and a girl or a boyfriend. So have I ever fell in love with one? No. So that's if that's getting thrown out there because, like I said, when you're part of a certain lifetime, if you're part of a certain lifestyle, you see certain things. I will say this: the key to of a happy life is somewhat of a life experience. So you don't have to be in that life experience, but you do have to see it. You do have to be in certain people's shoes. Um, hold on, hold on 1 second, everyone. Give me 1 second, everyone. Oh, okay. Um, so I will say this also too. Cause we're gonna talk a lot. We're gonna talk for at least 2 hours. Then I'm gonna do another show probably an hour and a half after. Uh, I do appreciate art, and I will say this: when you look at like adult entertainment and stuff like that, you do gotta appreciate people's art. You can't. What's the word? You can't undermine them or feel like, oh yeah, they're being disgusting, because people do feel a certain type of way when you judge their art or mislead their art. You know, I am doing two things at once. I'm sorry, everyone, but I'm almost done. Let's see, Cuckold World. Yep, perfect. But yeah, the first one that I have, I am gonna talk about, um, are women with a high sex history, wife material. I believe I'm gonna say this. I believe they can be, but at the end of the day, you still have to do your dig deep into your investigation. The reason why, because anything anything's possible. Where you might like a girl and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, her high it interferes with your life. There's certain things like that, and those type of things you will run into. There's always pros and cons with people with high sex history and low sex history. For example, people with high sex history, you're gonna have a great you're gonna have a great sexual relationship. You know, most of the time with people who have low sex history, um, you expect too much out of them. Sometimes it could be opposite, but most 9 out of 10, I would say, like in my case, it never works. And the reason why it just never works is because, um, like me, I'll give you my example of who I am. I have a high sex drive, so I'm one of those type of people. At least I would want it 5 to 6 times a week, if possible. If not, I do get aggravated. I do get frustrated. You know, I do have my pros of it. Of certain things I do want done or do want to do, and it just comes with having a high sex drive, taking care of yourself. Just the whole 9 yards. Like I always tell people all the time, you have to take care of yourself. If you don't take care of yourself, these are the type of things that happens. You get a low sex drive. Hold on 1 second. You get a low sex drive. Sometimes it's unattractive. Sometimes people are just there for your money, and once your money goes, they're leaving. They're gone. So like I said, this comes with the territory. This comes with the um this comes with certain situations where shit needs to be done. Like I always tell people all the time, be careful who you listen to too, like the Myron Gaines and the Andrew Tates, or the Tate brothers. Sometimes they don't practice what they preach, so yeah. Um, do I have an issue with it? I probably would have an issue with it, and the reason why I would have an issue with it because you're telling people don't do this, do this, do that. be mentally strong and you're not mentally strong yourself. You know, that's like shitting on somebody who's a crackhead and you're doing crack on the low. You're smoking crack on the low. You know, so that's why I always tell people all the time you got to be careful with the people you listen to because it's like I said, it's very dangerous. They can be leading you astray, you know, and they just might want just your money. Con artists, you know. Also, too, that guy, what's his name? The guy with Marquette, No Fugazi. He'll tell a man, "Oh yeah, don't date single mothers," and he dates a single mother too. You know, so it's. I'm not saying he's not a good guy, but he's a walking contradiction. You know, and nobody wants to bring his kids up involved because he does have a kid by her, but at the end of the day, you must have seen something into these girls and stuff like that. That's why I say sometimes a high sex history might be a good thing, might be a bad thing. To me, on the other hand, I don't mind it to a certain extent, where like as long as I don't know the people and it was way before me and you're not like bringing them into my circles like, oh yeah, I used to go out with this guy but we're friends. Nah, I'll be like, nah, I'm good. You know, the reason why is, first of all, it's disrespectful to bring somebody from your past to your future. It has always been a bad idea, especially if you're not in the industry. And when I mean the industry, I'm talking about the sex world or the adult entertainment. You know, I feel like the adult entertainment is it's a very unique culture. Cause I call the adult entertainment a unique culture. Cause it's the sex world. It's entertainment. You know, and I think people should appreciate it because it is, you know, into people's eyes, certain people's eyes, it is a degeneracy, but you know, certain people like it. Certain people don't just see sex out of it. Some people see drama, entertainment, comedy. You know, like it's called there's this adult company called Pure Taboo. They have acting in there where it's mostly drama, and sometimes they take from other movies and entertain that. Give me a second, everyone. Um, I have seen a few of them. And if you don't know, again, I do reaction videos to Pornhub or YouPorn or whatever. Whoever wants me to do a reaction video for, I will do. And that's why if you see at one of my accounts, you see a lot of like porn and like porn stars or adult stars, adult entertainers, and like I do come in contact with some of them. And the reason why is to get their point of view on something. And I talk to politicians, activist leaders. It's like I have to be in the middle of a little bit of everything. I'm no peacemaker, I will tell you that. You got to handle your own stuff, but like I said, it comes with certain territories of things. Give me a second. Boston, who's this? Running, making espressos, and probably shopping for bread. Election, housing policy research. Who's this? So yeah, I do tell people, yeah, I have certain point of views on things, and these are one of these point of views that I will have. In like 5 minutes, we'll get into the topic questions, definitely. And if you have a question, I'll definitely answer it in the live chat. So don't be surprised. This is like my other show, the Bronze Reaper. Bronze Reaper's more politicians. We have fun and stuff. That's why if you see me now, they be like, "Oh, yo, this motherfucker's so calm," you know. But I'm just calm right now. It's because this is what we have to do. You have to have different energies for different things. Um, I do want to say this. If you're an adult entertainer, or if you're like a um if you do anything with that, definitely I hope you do watch my show, and I am gonna have more projects, so definitely like and subscribe, and also comment in the live chat or in the comments, and follow me and subscribe to my YouTube and my Twitter. So, or formerly known as, I mean, X, formerly known as Twitter. Um, I will say this about a topic question, because I be all over the place with everything. I have dealt with somebody who had a high sex history. Sometimes a lot of these people do have some type of problems. No matter if it's emotional problems, mental problems. It's just this is what comes with the territory of people who have high sex history. You know, and don't forget environments are different as well. Where you might go to the hood, as we call the hood, urban neighborhood, where you have a Randall, what's going on? Hey, what's going on, Randall? This is my new channel. So, yeah, we don't usually. I'm going to do another show probably today or probably tomorrow early morning around 8. But this one is Sincerely My Paramour. I will explain this to you. I'll explain it again because you're Randall. Shout out to Randall. Randall is usually on my other channel. And thanks for the support, Randall. Actually, SP was on my first one, but I had to delete it because my son was messing around with the Wi-Fi and turned it off. Um, I will say this. I will explain it. So in this channel that we talk about the sex world, life experience, um, advice, relationships advice, dating. We talk about everything. I know it's gonna be different from the other show, but I'm gonna have both of the shows, and most likely I'll be doing 2 shows a day. This show I will do probably two, maybe 2.5 hours, depending. Um, but the topic question is: are women with high sex history wife materials in the cuckold world? You know, these questions we always have to talk about. Um, the reason why I use women too, because it's different from men. With men, a woman most likely would want a guy with a high sex history, because you want a man to know what he's doing. Because most women date men for most women date men for leadership. Most women don't know that. They think they just date men so they can be secure and taken care of. Life doesn't work like that. You heard what 50 did to his last ex girlfriend when she was like, "Yeah, can you give me $10,000?" He said, "Yeah, you're a strong black independent woman," and that was it. You know, he said, "You don't need my money." It's just there's situations like that. The way how I was growing up with this type of situation, women has always done stuff for me. So where I I had to learn about responsibilities late. You know, like my girlfriends, the girls that I was, you know, intertwined with, where we're having a sexual relationship or just the whole 9 yards. They always took care of me. They always gave me money. They give me cars and clothes and jewelry and just anything I want. Bring me on trips. And this where being a mistress actually worked for me. And what I found about, like, see, how would you know a female body count unless you grow up with them? I will tell you this, Black T. That's how it's supposed to be. We're supposed to not know. But in this era, we always find out because everybody messes with the same people. Where, like, I can give you an example. College. You don't think those rich people don't know that their girls, their wife are whores before they marry them? It's so low key that people don't know, where people don't know your girl's bounty count or don't know your girl's body at all. Like if you have a friend shouldn't be telling you how your girl feels or look. It's just like I said, it's a moral and ethical thing. And if you can handle that, like if your girl's in a field where she has to show her body and all that other stuff, that's something that y'all might have to talk about, or give me a sec, or have rules applied. Um, like I have went out with like girls with high body counts and like people that I knew actually had sex with her and stuff. I had dated girls like that, and to me it wasn't hard because it was before me. I didn't know nothing about it. The reason how I knew because of the guys got jealous. Well, the one guy got jealous and started telling everything, you know? And it sucks, but at the end of the day, this is what comes with the territory. But let me tell you what the pro about it is. The pro about a girl having a high body count is that those girls is kind of usually easier to talk to than girls who don't have a high body count. You know, you can get a little bit more emotion out of those who have high body counts, because sometimes don't forget, most of those girls who do be messing around with a whole bunch of guys has some type of emotional disconnect to certain things, where you're building a relationship with this girl and she's doing something new where she probably hasn't have done before as in relationships. I'm not saying don't have limits, but yeah, do have limits, but there's some things that you're gonna have to what's the word, not sacrifice, but let slide. You gotta let slide the women who sleep with a lot of guys, because to a point. And the reason why I say to a point, because there's some numbers is just like too crazy, where you know what, we just better off as benefit friends. I'm attracted to you, you're attracted to me. I'm not seeing anybody, but at the end of the day, I still want to be around you. You could be on this. You can be on that type of standard. You know. But hey, what's going on, Jeff? Man, this is the new channel for the other podcast. Sincerely, my paramour. I was talking. I think I told y'all about it like 2, 3 episodes ago. Yeah. This is it today. So the topic questions is: Are women a high sex? I mean, are women with a high sex history wife material? You know. Like I said, it's a real crazy. I'm gonna say that it's Did you see the new Tariq Nasheed video? No, not yet. Let me be surprised because I'll watch it right after this. Tell me the topic question of it. What was the topic question? But I will watch it. Um, but yeah, like I said, is it hell no. They ain't wife material. It depends, man. You know, and I'm gonna say this. It depends because let me ask you a question. Women with less sex history, then really not good in bed. They might not know what to do. Where you might get frustrated, and 7 out of 10, they'll deny some of the stuff that you want to do, and they're not really open minded to certain things. You know, and sometimes that shit takes years, man, to even break them out of that. You know, so yeah, you gotta. They was talking about Nigerians and oh yeah. I seen that. I seen a little bit of it. I didn't see all of it. It was I was watching the premiere of it, but I started having to do this. But yeah, I'm gonna finish watching it after this. So definitely don't tell me about it because I want to see it. I heard it was getting good. It was with a Nigerian guy from UK. Yeah, I was watching a little bit of it. I will say this, and I'm gonna do another show probably today or tomorrow, Jeff. So definitely, yeah. The Nigerian dude from the UK was trying to say Nigerians use blacks in boxing. Nah, not really. They just started. I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna end it here. Nigerians just started coming up in boxing. There's not that many good Nigerian boxers. The last real good boxer was probably Peter Samuel. If you don't know who Peter Samuel is, Peter Samuel was the guy who beat James Toney for the heavyweight title when James Toney went up he went up 2 weights, and he retired after him. But yeah, nah, not really. And plus there's only like probably one or two, maybe even three great Nigerian MMA fighters. So that's it. It's not that many. So yeah. um I do want to say this though. With women, I think definitely it's a tricky line. It depends what you want. I always tell people all the time before you get in a relationship, you figure out what you want out of this relationship. Do you want a long-term relationship? Do you want a seasonal relationship? Are you looking for a wife or a girlfriend? Are you looking to build with this person? You figure out what's happiness and see if she can make you happy. It's just I'm gonna tell you this. I wish I would have knew what I knew now because half the relationships that I was in back in the days I probably wouldn't even get in. I would just probably have a sexual relationship with, you know. The reason why is uh because the women didn't want what I wanted, you know. So, and back in the days, I used to put women on a high pedestal, so I used to expect more out of them. And when I didn't get it, I was kind of mad at myself because they didn't give it to me. Well, I was mad at them, but at the end of the day, I gotta be mad at myself because I want to put women on a high pedestal. Yes, if I'm trying to be a successful business person, absolutely, I'm supposed to. Um, but that's not everybody. This is why you're supposed to date. You're supposed to date that person and figure out like, damn, is this what I want? Damn, she gotta like yo. I'm gonna give you a story. I'm gonna tell you a story. Then I'm gonna come right back. I'm gonna give me like 30 seconds. I'll be right back. So there was this girl I used to mess with. Beautiful. I never really messed with light skinned girls, but she was light skinned and she was beautiful. Two light skinned girls I ever messed with. I fell in love with both of them. One was an older chick. She's like probably like 5 or 6 years older than me. Um, and this one that I'm talking about now, she was probably like 2 years older than me at the time, 2 or 3 years old. I mean, younger than me. I was like 21, 22, and she was like 3 years older, 3 years younger than me. Give me a second, everyone. Mm, but yeah, we had a great time together. We love hanging out. We always talked. We had deep conversations. And the women that we consider promiscuous, you can have a lot of deep conversations with them because at the end of the day, they probably been through some certain shit that you haven't been with yet that you're about to get yourself into something. Or the opposite. You know, it's just like y'all actually kind of protecting each other, you know? Um I'm gonna even go out farther after this. There were situations where I'm gonna say this. There was even such situations where we had great sex, and we had great sex every night. You know, it's just when you get into these other relationships where people don't have the same high sex drive or don't have the same, you know, sexual needs, it's gonna be a little bit hard, and it's mostly the women that don't really have a sexual history. Like, yeah, it might be good in the beginning, having sex every day, twice, 2, 3 times a day and stuff. You know, getting the morning blowjobs and stuff in the beginning and stuff. But that shit stops, man, with the women who have, you know, they're not really, you know, don't have that that history, because they don't know how to keep a man. They're not gonna know how to keep a man. You know, especially if the man ain't don't wanna, you know, who doesn't want to teach, and is like, damn, she's supposed to know some of this stuff. You know, there's girls that don't know how to fucking cook, don't know how to make a pot of rice, and but gives the best heads. And some people can deal with that. It's like, well, I can just get a chef. You know, there's some girls that like they're not the cleanest women in the world, but you know, they give you great sex and make you a great plate of food. You know, they can Martha Stewart the motherfucker like like there's no tomorrow. And you'd be like, "Oh my god. I love this girl, but she got to clean up after herself." You know, it's just there's some girls who can't do neither, and but you have a great conversation with them and you just love being around them. You know, those are the type of things that you would might have to deal with when you're dealing with a girl who does have a high sex, you know, sex history, and some girls who have low sex history. You gotta pick that out. You gotta pick what you want, pick what you need, and if it ain't gonna work, don't try to force it. You know, I'm just being personally honest. Never try to force anything. But um, I'm gonna say this though, and this might be a little bit new. Give me a second. Um, oh, let me go back to with that other girl. The other girl, we had great sex and everything. You know, I didn't want her to cook. I usually cook. When I was younger, I loved to cook, so I used to cook for her and her child because she had a child. You know, I'm gonna say this like, and I was messing with her when I didn't have a job at all. I wasn't into the paramour business or you know sleeping around business or anything. And like shit went left with her and stuff like that because at end of the day, I didn't make rules to anything. I didn't make rules at all. And I'm gonna say this: I blame myself for that relationship because I should have made rules. And there was another girl. I don't know if she had a high sex history. She was a full figure woman. She was Somalian. She was thick. Oh yeah, she was a little big mama too. She was a little big mama. She was like 5'4", 5'5", heavy set. I had great sex with her. I actually loved that girl. You know. Um, well, our situation that was another time when I didn't have a job, and she just popped up in my life and like took care of me. I went to go visit her in Canada. Like she lived in Randolph at the time, but she was from Canada, Ottawa. Very beautiful. I would have I would have married her, but she was just forcing me to marry her at the time. I was like, nah, you know. There was a few girls I fell in love with. She had other relationships and stuff like that after, so she probably did have a high sex history, but at the end of the day I didn't care because she was for me, you know. She always wanted to be around me. Like there was so let me tell you how ungrateful at the time I was. She came and visited me from all the way from Canada to surprise me, and I said, "What are you doing here?" I was a piece of shit, man. And this is why I always tell people all the time, you have to appreciate the ones you love. Be going like that, you know. Because like I said, I did love her. I did fall in love with her. Very like I said, she was heavy set. She was beautiful. And let me tell you why I loved about her, because I didn't care that she was heavy set. You know, I didn't care she was big. I just liked her for who she was. That's all. You know, I don't I don't think people get that a lot. I turn 28 next week. I'm getting older. Yeah, man, you're not getting older, man. You're getting better. You always got to see that when you feel like you're getting old, you're gonna get old. When you feel like you're gonna get better, you're getting better. Like me, to this day I still don't feel like I'm getting old and I'm 40. You know, sometimes I be tired and I'll be like, yo, why am I so tired? And I'll just still keep on going like I'm 25, and I be forgetting like, oh shit, I'm fucking 40. I can't be doing this stuff, but I still do it. It's just like I tell people all the time. It comes with the territory, and you still have to take care of yourself. And I'm gonna say this: best advice: take care of yourself now instead of having to take care of yourself later. You know, I'm really being perfectly honest. Mm. So yeah, I got a question for people in the chat as well from Twitter and YouTube. What would y'all prefer? A woman with a high sex history or a woman with a low sex history? You know, and how would you go by it? How would you go by both of them? Cause I'll tell you mine. I personally don't mind a girl with a high sex history. My issue is knowing the people that she know and her bringing those people around me. Like I'm one of those type of person. When you're with me, you're with me. Get new friends. You know. Or you could be like my baby mother and you're just not a people's person, or people just don't like you because you're not a friendly person. So it could be like that, you know. Some old heads be fast. My uncle's like 60. He can beat up the average man. He does jujitsu. I'd be surprised how fast. Yeah, because he took care of himself, or it's that, or he has been through a lot where it just doesn't affect his body no more. Like, I don't know what your nationality is. It's probably because your roots genetics. Like, Black people, they don't age that. When black people age, they barely age. But when they don't take care of themselves, you could tell that, like, damn, this motherfucker ain't taking care of himself. Like, there's this guy. When I went to the Juneteenth, I stopped at Stop and Shop. So if you're from down south, Stop and Shop is like Piggly Wigglies, So it's like one of those. And I seen a classmate that I haven't seen in like probably 15 years, and he was like, "Hey, yo, how you doing, Rosalind?" Well, he called me Lewis. That's my real name. He used to be a bouncer when he was young. Yeah, so he took care of himself. So he had to work out, watch the build. Yeah, just like me. I used to smoke a lot. I used to smoke an ounce every 3 days, 3 to 4 days, and I had to go get another ounce. So and at my time, my ounces used to cost like what, $350 because I wasn't getting like trash. I had to pay retail prices. So yeah. Um, and that's a lot for weed. People be selling ounces for $150. I was paying like $350 because it was good quality. So you can't fuck around with good quality. Sometimes I had them break them up into two, where I'll have like two different types of weeds that made an ounce. You'd be surprised. I'm gonna say this. Um, yeah, it's genetics and stuff, man. Like my uncle's 64, 65. He hasn't taken care of himself. He used to do fucking heroin. This motherfucker's on crutches. While my father's taking care of his grandparents, I mean, taking care of my grandparents, and he's only 62, 61. Still moving around, still taking an old nigga nap and stuff like that, though. But, my father's lost weight. He's taking care. My father used to be fat. He slimmed down, took care of himself. I'm trying to get him into working out, eating better and stuff like that. It's just, I always tell my dad, yo, this stuff comes with the consequences of all this other stuff that he does. Like me, I don't smoke no more. I barely drink. If I drink, I probably drink Douce or Cavassier or red wine. Other than that, I wouldn't drink or smoke. I'm not a big drinker. Oh yeah, I had some. The what did I have last week, everyone? I had some Jack, but it was honey. It was Tennessee honey. I just like honey, so you know. So yeah, you got to take care of yourself. That's another thing. You know. I do want to say this too. I never drink, but I do smoke. Yeah. Also, too, yeah. When you get older, too, Jeff, slow down on the smoking. You can smoke, but try to slow down on it and stuff like that, man, because that shit is messing around with people's hearts nowadays. So try to slow down on it while growing up. I smoked for over 25 years, 30 years. I've been smoking since I was 14, 13 years old. I stopped smoking when I turned 35, 34, 35. Yeah, I quit smoking. I just got bored of it. I didn't want to do it anymore. So I was like, yeah, I'm good. I don't want to smoke anymore. Like, I'll tell you the story. So there was this group called Northern Herbs. They were supplying Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Maine, New Hampshire, and they made like over 250,000 every month, and like just selling weed, and probably that's plus. I don't know how much they were making, but they were making money. Um, the whole situation of that, they got raided. When they got raided, they took all the good weed. They had green crack, they had fruity pebbles, they had the orange pebbles, they had uh what's that shit that jalapia gelato, I'm sorry, they had gelato, they had everything. Oh my god. When they took all that shit and I seen it on TV, I almost cried. I was like, yo, and I was gonna go back into smoking. I tried it probably for like another 6 months. Then when this guy gave me some free weed, I smoked it. It was the trash, the most wackest weed I ever smoked in my life. And I was like, you know what? I don't even want to smoke anymore. And I just gave up smoking. And everybody looked at me. They was like, yo, you're not gonna smoke anymore? I was like, no, don't want to smoke anymore. They were like, why? I was like, I don't know. I just like I smoked the greatest. I smoked the sticky of the ickiest. I smoked with probably one of the coolest peoples ever. I smoked with my grandfather. I gave my grandfather some red shit. That motherfucker needed a help to his car, you know. So, and my grandfather's like 87 right now, 85, 87 right now. So it's. I just didn't want to do it anymore. I don't know how your life is. It's just I just stopped. I didn't want to do it anymore, and I got bigger. See, I'm like 2 fits. Yo, if I show you the picture of how skinny I used to be, you're gonna be like, oh my god, that's you. I'll show you how skinny I was. Um, but yeah, it's just like I said, that shit comes with the territory, man. I was so small. Like if I had the clothes that I had before, you'd be like, damn, you can't even fit those no more. Let me see. But yeah, man, it's no, not that picture, not that picture, not that picture. Oh yeah, I'm gonna show y'all I was wearing a daishiki. I know the people from the Bronze Reaper podcast is gonna clown me for this, but I'll show you. Uh, this is how skinny I used to be. The Bronze Reaper podcast is gonna clown me for this, but that's how skinny I used to be. This is how skinny I was like 153 pounds. Yeah, and I just gained all the way after I stopped smoking and working out and like I'm gonna tell you this. I never felt better than how I feel today. You know, when I was younger, I didn't feel this good. You know, my sex drive got a little bit higher. Yeah, man, it's give me a second. Yeah, it's just everything comes with the territory. I don't regret anything because I will say this. The reason why I don't regret anything is I actually hold on a second. Donate to help for the you have more for salute. I'm about to troll somebody real fast. Give me 2 seconds. Uh, so I'm gonna say this, everyone. There's this guy and this other guy fighting. Um, and like they always throwing shade at each other and stuff. I don't know what's the problem, but I'm just trolling them right now. I said salute to both of them. They're both running partners and they both don't like each other. So sometimes you got to do that so one person can stop shitting on the other person. But they both shit on each other, you know. I don't mind it, but you know, yeah. I requested that I follow both of them, so it just shout out to Chip and Sean. Sean for Boston. I think he's running from District 7, and Chip. I think he's an advocate for Ayanna Presley. I'm not the biggest Ayanna Presley fan, but I do support Chip. Well, I support Ayanna, not a cold day in hell, because she hasn't done anything for the black community personally. If you ask me, um, she is helping with. And I think it's a come up because, and this is just me. This doesn't speak for reparations, because I am a reparation advocate, and activist. But I think Ayana even said or done anything because she knew Kamala was gonna lose. Kamala wasn't the best resident. I mean, not resident. Elector for the Democrats. Democrats just exposed themselves, and that's how I just feel. Also, but let's get back into what I was saying. Like, give me a second. My children's mom. I gotta see what she wants. But yeah, but to a certain extent, like I don't think I'm gonna say this. This era of women right now, it's different, and the reason why I say it's different, I feel like a lot of us as males trying to have that traditional type of wife. But this, I'm gonna be personally. I don't think there's a such thing as a traditional wife anymore. You know, these women are smarter. They're very independent. They can actually help. Um, it's just I feel like this. We have to be better leaders as men. I feel like, and I think I'm gonna do this in the future. I'm gonna set up a men's empowerment class where we can empower each other. We can share stories, do workshops together to make us all better as men for women. You know, and if I could get that, if I can find a perfect woman to do that, definitely I would. Uh, it's just things are different right now. People always think, oh yeah, you gotta have money to have a great woman. No, absolutely not. Sometimes the roles might have to change. Where yeah, your wife makes more money than you, but at the end of the day, she still wants you to leave. Like I trusted my husband, or I trusted my man. Like sometimes you would want that, you know. Um, I just want as men, not nor like yes, black men, but just all men to like yo support their woman. Fuck it, if your woman was fucking and sucking back in college, that was way before you, and you knew about it, and you knew that it wasn't a big deal. So you like what she was doing, and you married her. I remember this girl. Let me tell you something. I know this girl from Wellesley College. I used to fuck the shit out of her all the time, and I heard her friend used to like pass her around to other guys. The guy and the guy that she was fucking with, I mean, the guy who was her friend, now got a baby by her and married to her. He didn't give a fuck. He cared about money because he went to I think MIT or Harvard. But people have to understand too. In these prestigious colleges, there's a lot of whores there. You know, like it comes with the territory. It comes with the territory. What, like why? Like I don't know why people making it seem like this is a big deal. Like people wasn't doing this in the 50s and the 60s. You know. Um, Give me a second. I forgot to do something. I don't want Bobby to kill me. He ain't gonna kill me, but I was supposed to do this. He always tells me to put my Cash App up there. Um I'm sorry everyone. Just give me a second. Um but yeah, I feel like this. If you really like the girl and like she been around the block a few times and shit like that, and y'all actually connect, fuck it, do it. You know, I had friends that I'm gonna be personally honest. I had girls that I was messing with that been around the block. It just like I said, it comes with the territory. Can y'all give me a few seconds? I'm gonna go check on my coffee and I'll be right back. All right, I'm back, everyone. So I do want to say this. I went to go get myself a cup of coffee too. Um, oh, our views are getting up now, man. So in X, where we are in X, we're at seven on X, and there's only two right now, cause and on the Bronze Reaper media, but yeah, we're getting up there, everyone. I do want to say, and it's because of the topic questions that we are, and plus the following that I have on my other account. So most people are gonna watch. Um, I'm gonna land with this question right here, and with this topic, the topic question is: Are women with a high sex history, wife material, the cup, and oh yeah, that's the next question. Um, and I'm gonna say yes. Some are, yes, depending on what type of person you are. If I have to train somebody, or not train but teach, train sounds like you're domesticating a female. Um, when you're teaching a female what you like and dislike and stuff like that, I think that's um, it's a good thing, but also it can be a spiritual thing too, where y'all connect, where y'all intertwine it like this. It makes y'all better people. Then she can tell you what you like and this and that. Both at the same time. But if you're looking for a wife now, and there's just certain things you just really don't know like that, yeah, yeah, mess with the girl who who have that high body count, and you might really like her. She might have. The thing about it, she's just experienced. She's more experienced than other women, where you don't really have to teach her anything. She already knows, like, yo, she's gonna have to get that man head in the morning. That's how he wakes up. That's what type of time he be on sometimes. You know? Sometimes, he likes the, morning sex and stuff. Sometimes he wants the, yo, I'm about to sneak out of work and stuff, and like, yo, the kids ain't home. I'm gonna put you on the table and stuff like that. The freakiness, that spark ain't never gonna leave like that, you know. Or be on the balcony of a hotel while few people can see, but they don't know it's you. It be like that sometimes. That's the type of spark that certain people like. Some people like the pillow princess. You know, some people don't wanna the sexual freaky things with their woman. You know, some people don't like the you be surprised. Like me, and I'm gonna end what I like. Yeah, I per se do like the women with a high sexual history. I do like that sometimes, because I gotta be personally honest. You know what? I really don't have to say anything. I don't really have to say, "Oh yeah, do this." She already know, like, yo, we're gonna have fun tonight. You know. Sometimes she might switch it up or something. Then definitely, if you have a girl who likes to wear like wigs and lace fronts and stuff, she put on a red one today and stuff with the red lipstick, or she wear the blue hair with the blue lingerie with the high heels. Like, yo, you'd be surprised, man. There's certain women like that, man. There's women who likes to spark it up. But if you have somebody that's new to something, they're gonna feel uncomfortable, or they might even feel like, oh damn, am I supposed to be doing this? Is this a shameful thing? A person who has that high body count don't think of stuff being shameful. They think of it as like, yo, we're having fun today. I think, just this is just me. I think it gets crazy when everybody sees it. Everybody knows your business. Everybody knows what y'all do. I understand if you talk amongst your friends with it, but once you start telling people, like, the whole world, and putting it on social media, that's really not my cup of tea. Or if you have done this before, it's like, this is when you do stuff like that, that's just, to me, it's like, what's the word? This is more of a, to me, that's just more of like, yeah, y'all just friends with benefits. Y'all real good friends with benefits and stuff like that. Yeah, y'all really like each other, but you kind of know it ain't gonna really go far because of all the stuff that your past has done. Should your past matter? Not really, but if you go out, it's like, yo, let me give you an example. Example. It's just like a woman who dated a man, and you find out he used to be a part of the Nazi government, or he used to be a neo-Nazi, a black woman dating this white man. You find out he used to be a neo-Nazi. You be like, nah, I can't fuck with you, man. He got fucking SWAT stickers everywhere and shit like that. You be like, yo, what the fuck? I can't date you, man. You got all this crazy shit on you. You got a crazy history. You know? Sometimes it could be that far, too far. You know? It's just. And I don't do hypotheticals. If you ever watch the Bruns Reaper podcast, I don't really do hypotheticals, but that's the hypothetical I can actually understand that I would have to. It's an evil necessary, you know. Yeah, the fucking guy's a Nazi or something. You'd be like, yeah, nah, fuck no, man. Y'all don't even like black people. Neo-Nazi. I didn't say Nazi. Neo-Nazi. That's what I meant. If I did say it, that's what I meant. It's just a crazy situation. I do want to say this too when I end it too. Like again, I don't mind that, but I don't like, you know, when it interferes with my peace. One thing I like about anything other than podcasting is my peace. When I can get my peace, I am fine with that. You know, I won't do nothing. I won't say anything. I can be myself. You know, and what my piece is probably playing video games, longboarding. I haven't longboarded in years, but I still do got my longboard, and I can't do it where I am. The streets is fucked up, you know. So, you'd be surprised. Like, there's certain things that I like to do. I'll probably pop my headphones in, longboard. You know. Like I do want a longboard to wrestling school Tuesday, but I know I can't because um it's just a weird situation, man. I'm gonna need my car to go to work next. You know. So yeah, give me a second. And also too, I will say this. Um, Give me a second, everyone. I'm sorry, everyone. Just all right, cool. Yes, the false officially confirmed. Confirm Iron launch missiles at court. Airbase, the largest. All right, I'm done. So yeah, I do want to say that personally to me, the high sex history doesn't really matter to me. It depends how high it is, and it depends where. Even whom, like if it's one of somebody I know and stuff like that, I can deal with it to a certain extent. It's just I don't like when people try to rub it in your face or my face, talk about, oh, I fucked your girl. Like, yo, that was why you still holding on to that? That was before me. I had to tell the guy, yo, that shit was before me. Well, I can't get mad about that. I was like, yo, we're rocking together, you know. Um, and I know a lot of people hate that when I say that. It was before me. What can I do, you know? You fucked a few, what was it, tenths of people, like 20 people, and that was before me. You know, I have dated girls who was in orgies and stuff like that. It's just, I can't be judgmental because I was in those orgies too, you know. I was probably, yeah, go on cheering her on or some shit like that. You know, you'd be surprised, man. Hold on one second. What's up with the weather? Yeah, so yeah, it's also too. Everybody drink enough water, especially in the East Coast where I am. It's like 94 degrees. So yeah, I got my kids in the AC. So yeah, they already know. My daughter like, oh, I don't want to be under the AC. I'm like, nah, you gotta keep that AC on. You know. Um, but again, like I was saying, I don't think a high. That's why I say don't listen to the Fresh and Fit and the Tate brothers and stuff like that. It's just. Let me ask you a question. You don't think their mothers was fucking? You know, you don't think that Myron's father or mother was like, yeah. You think that's the only guy she probably been with? Probably not, We don't know, but at the end of the day, look at what's his Andrew Tate's father. They got divorced, I'm under the AC as well. I'm not going outside. It's like 95 right now. Yeah. Keep yourself safe, my friend. It's hot out there. I got my air conditioner going on right now in my office. I actually got to clean up my office again, and I got to wash clothes again. So yeah, I'm glad. I wish my son didn't touch the. I wish he didn't touch the Wi-Fi this morning, cause it was pretty good, man. We had like almost 18 people, 11, 18 people in X. So it's getting bigger, Jeff. This is getting bigger, so definitely we're gonna have a whole new crowd of people as well. So that's super cool. So that's why I always say. That's why I always thank you, Jeff. I always thank all of y'all. You, SP, Kwame, Shabaka. Like look how compared from months ago when Kwame and Shabaka came out. Look what type of people that we have. I don't know if you was there at that time, but yeah, it wasn't that big. You could check my views. My views was only like 30, 20. Now it's like 70, 80, 90. Sometimes mostly 100 half the time, 300 depending on what we talk about and stuff like that. And most of mine is mostly black empowerment and current events that I usually talk about on Bronze Reaper podcast. So I'm gonna start putting out if this is a Bronze Reaper podcast or sincerely my paramour episode 1 or 2. I just want me. I'm just trying to expand people's horizons when they date women or talk to women, and like, yeah, sometimes I always tell people all the time. Sometimes you might get the girl with the high, sex history and stuff like that. It gets crazy. Like it legit gets crazy, and like half the time we can't even do nothing about it because this happened before us. What can we do? Give me a second. But yeah, like I said, it's a strange situation of with women. So definitely, I always tell people all the time, don't be closed-minded to it because it was way before you. It was before you. She could probably be a better person, you know. Let me tell you what I don't like about certain situations. Oh, it's almost 100. Yeah, it is. I just checked. I just checked on my phone too. I'm gonna get a new phone in August because that's when the new iPhones come out. I don't want to get a new phone and a new phone comes out in like what 2 months, So yeah, I do want to say this though. This is gonna be crazy though. Um, and this is before we start this other joint. I believe. I mean, this is one thing I don't like. I don't like when a girl used to go all, you know, go 100% with the guy that who was ain't shit, and when you get a guy that really do likes you and stuff, you a pillow princess. I do hate that, and I think the worst case in scenario with most of these young girls, I mean these girls who have a low sex history, they get cheated on half the time. And the reason why is because they don't usually do what that the other freaky girls be doing, or a guy's not communicating with them like, oh yo, I like head in the morning and stuff like that, and like all this other cool shit. And if she doesn't like that, hey yo, let's go get a hotel. Oh yeah, I'm working late tonight, baby. Don't wait up. It's just like that. You know, and it's hurtful because at the end of the day, you're probably happy with the girl, but sexually you're not happy. It comes with the territory, man. And this is why I always tell people all the time: in the beginning of relationships, you got to be honest. You got to be honest. You know, it's just it is what it is. And also don't fall for the, oh yeah, she's Asian or she's white, so they're gonna treat you better. No, it depends on the person. Technically, I will tell you that you might. Most of the time, you'll get the stereotypical people. I'm not gonna lie. Um, it's just every race has a different culture, and I think it's because it's a cultural thing. Where let me tell you the false. Let me tell you Let me tell you the misinformation that Myron Gaines gave out when he said about Asian women. He's like, oh yeah, Ling Ling's gonna culturally do this and that for you and cook and all. Nah, that's a fucking lie. Asian women are disrespectful. Um, I advise them don't go out with black men because they will shoot you if you talk disrespectful to them like you do to the Asian man. If you're not trying to give that guy respect or treat him properly, yeah, that motherfucker might put his hands on you. If you get out, let me tell you something. Black people are very prideful people. Our pride is taking care of our. Let me tell you something. Black men, and I'm sorry to go racial, but black men usually take care of their kids. They usually take care of their kids. If you're talking about immigrant blacks, yeah, they'll leave their kids in another country, and not come and pick them up until they're like 25. Then come to this country when they're 15 and say that they're 15. It's just like that, man. Sometimes, but culturally, black men take care of their kids. It always has been like that. Uh, to be hyping up Asian women. Yeah, but Asian women are very disrespectful. I'm gonna be personal. I'm gonna tell you, don't. My baby mother's Cambodian. Don't ever go out with an Asian woman. There's a few times I had to put her in a place like, yo, who you think you're talking to? That's why. Let me ask you a question. Did you see like Jeannie Mai? Remember we was having a conversation about Jeannie Mai, and I told her she's the greatest side. She would be a great side chick. Jeannie Mai plays her part, but relationship wise, no, she's the worst. And it's the way how she talks to men. Look what she called she on national TV. She called her ex-husband a male bitch when they were together on live TV. Then she got mad when he cheated on her and got pregnant, got another girl pregnant. Like this is how they play, and most people culturally don't play like that. Calling people fat and ugly, no, they don't play like that. You smell, yeah, they don't play like that. Um, that's the disconnect with Asian culture, you know. And like that's why I said, it's I like I said, I dated a lot of women. That's not my baby mother isn't the only Asian woman I have dated. So, I dated a Philippine. She was a virgin when I met her, but you know, like I said, she cooked, clean, you know, it, she did everything. But at the end of the day, I didn't mind teaching her and stuff like that. She was a good person, you know. She was different from other Asian women. Um, the only thing was when she got drunk, she liked to abuse her. She liked to physically abuse her little brother. So, yeah, yeah, I had one of those. So she refused physically abuse her little brother, and we were drinking. So he didn't know, but he was. And I'm gonna say her brother, little brother, and sister was good people. I still consider her the girl a good person. It's just it is what it is. Like if you see me now, she's like, "Damn, you muscular." I'm like, yeah, work out. um, I do want to say this though. Um, but everybody, there's always a con to every like race of women. White women will call the police on you. I don't eat white women's. I don't really eat white women food. If a white woman cooked me food, I probably wouldn't eat it. I just have a. They don't put enough seasoning in their food, so yeah. There's only one white girl, or maybe two white girls' food that I would eat. Is this older chick? She's probably like 50 now, 52, 53. She used to make Jamaican food. That shit was bomb. She make it better than certain Jamaicans. You know, this white girl that I used to rock with. Um, she was like 5'11" too, very skinny, but 5'11". Lived in the hood. She lived in Phil's Corner, I think, in Boston. Um, yeah, freaking everything. My issue, I just didn't like that she says the N word. It rubbed me the wrong way. And I know that like some people let her get away with it. And this is a free country. You could do whatever you want, but um, she's gonna be fighting a lot. You know, she probably fought a lot when she said that shit around people. You know, yeah, it's always like that, man. You just gotta be very careful around, saying that shit around people. You know, even like Latino people. I always tell people all the time. There's these old school black people, like from the '60s. They're very hateful people, and I'm talking about not hatred, like I hate everybody or I fucking hope you die, like white supremacy. No, I'm talking about like they'll be like, oh I'm gonna shoot this motherfucker if he comes out of pocket again. Like I have uncles and aunties like that from Alabama. They got trigger happy people, man. Trigger finger people, man. And motherfuckers use shotguns down south, so that shit's spraying everywhere. You know, so I always tell people be careful. Like I don't mind people saying that. If your area, y'all say, all right, by all means, but you gotta respect people that's not in your world. And they'd be like, yo, man, I don't like you saying that. Can you please stop saying that? You can't be like, fuck you, motherfucker. I'm gonna say whatever I want. No, some people come out of pockets, man. It's like this is why I always tell people all the time. If you're gonna be that type of person, you gotta adapt to the environment. Like, let me tell you who I respect because he adapt to the environment. China Mac. China Mac adapted to the environment. He's from, I think, Staten Island. I don't know where he's at. I don't know Bronx, Brooklyn, but he adapted to the environment. I mean, to the atmosphere when people was like, "Oh, yo, we don't like you saying the word nigga." He said, "Okay, yo, I understood it, and I stopped saying it around people because I understand people are not from New York. People are not from these areas, So you can't do that. Like, yeah, you can't do that. You can't come into somebody's world and try to invade it. Some people don't take that kindly. But let's get into the next topic. The topic question is Cutney. What was it? Cuckold. If you don't know what cuckold is, Diddy's getting in trouble for cuckold as it is. I think it was consensual because I have been around like environments like that where people watch their girls get banged out and the guys in the corner stroking his tool like that, and you'd be like, "Yo, what is going on?" I'm gonna tell you something. I went to this party in was it New England? Was it the New England region? Nah, 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 nah. It was like Iowa. I was in Iowa at one time. And I went to the swinger party. And the guy I met this couple. I'm about to say two people, but I met this couple, and they were swingers. And I was seeing them kiss this girl and stuff like that, and they both came up to me. He's like, "Oh, whoa." She's like, "Oh, you're a very beautiful man." And I was like 150, 163 at the time. And I was like, "Oh, thank you. I appreciate that." And she's like, "Yeah, honey. Ain't he beautiful?" He's like, "Yeah, he's very beautiful." And she started touching me. I was like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa. I want to show your husband respect. I can't do that in front of your husband." He's like, "Oh, no, my husband likes that. Um, I was like, "Well, you know what? Let's have a drink and let's conversate. Let's talk." And we talk, yo, fucking, the lady's a housewife. The guy has a nice job. He's bringing home like at least six figures a year easily. Probably 180, 100, almost 180 to 200,000 a year. And they was started telling me about their lives and stuff, and they was telling me that we don't usually talk about our lives and stuff because this is where we have fun, but we are very interested in who you are. I was like, "My name is Aroshalin. I'm from Boston." Boston's like, "What are you doing in Iowa?" I was like, "I'm just stopping by and stuff. I have a friend that's in Iowa. He's from Iowa." He's like, "Oh man." He's like, "Yo, do you know we have these parties a lot in Iowa?" I was like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah, we have a lot of swinger parties and stuff like that." And this was the first time I ever heard of a cuckold. And he's like, "Yo, sometimes like I like to see my wife, and with another guy." And I was like, "Really?" I was like, "Why?" He's like, I was like, "I know she likes it, and I like it." He said, "I watch a lot of adult entertainment." So he said porn, but he said he watches a lot, and he's like, "Yo," he said, "Would I mind sleeping with his wife?" I was like, "I don't know." I was like, "Maybe next time." I wouldn't want to do that. So I'm drinking, I was like, "Oh, nice meeting you," and stuff like that, because we talked for another like 20 minutes and stuff like that. And I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna go visit around." I was like, "I hope to meet you later on," and stuff like that. He's like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." So I I came back around. It was like 2 hours later, and I see him in a corner like this, just he's like, suck her titties," and I'm watching him doing it. I'm like, "Yo, what the fuck?" I was like, "Yo, what the fuck is he looking at?" And his wife's getting banged out by this. I think he was Spanish or a dark Latino and a black guy, probably like African or something. And she's loving it, and like they're all touching her and stuff. I was like, "Yo, I gotta get out of here." He said, "Hey, hey, hey, Rosalind, come and watch." I was like, "Oh, I gotta go do something real fast. I'll be right back." I did not come back. You know, so cuckold, technically, it's normal in the sex world. A lot of people like watching that stuff. You wrote something. Let's say, no, that was the first time I ever seen one. Do I do it? Absolutely not. The reason why is I wouldn't want to see my girl get banged out and stuff, and I'd be jerking in the corner and stuff like that. No, it's just that's not my cup of tea. But I know a lot of people that do it. You know, like it's a no. Technically, in the like the sex world, like the underworld, like the swinger parties and stuff like that, people do it. Yeah, it's a normal thing. Like what Diddy is doing, people do like three times worse. Like I wouldn't even call it worse, but people do it. They go to a farther extent than Diddy. At least Diddy's having his significant other pick out the guy that she wants to be with, or the guy she wants to be intimate with. Like real talk. Have I been in an orgy? Definitely, I have been in an orgy though. I will say that. And that was my first one was in New York. That was when I was 23, 24. Um, no, earlier than that. Probably like 21, 22. It was. I put it this way: I needed an IV after. I slept the whole day. I slept until like 6 p.m. and stuff. Drunk, hungover. I didn't have no energy. Just drinking water, throwing out the water, drinking more water, falling asleep, running to the bathroom, throwing up. It wasn't because of the sex. It's just because of the alcohol. Then I had no energy after having sex. Headache. Just I was very dehydrated. I didn't have no liquid. I didn't have no fluids in my body. And that's what orgies does. I did this when I was single. So yeah, this is the only friend stream today. Oh no! This is the new channel. Kwame. Shout out to Kwame. This is the new channel I was telling you about. So this is Sincerely My Paramour podcast. We will do another show today or tomorrow, but definitely we're gonna keep the Bronze Reaper podcast. Don't worry, Kwame. So you could bug out on that one. This one is more about life experience, the sex world, relationships, dating advice, relationship advice, men empowerment, women empowerment. It's a little bit of everything. You missed like an hour and a half of it, so definitely it's you caught it when we're in the other topic questions. And the second what we're talking about right now is cuckold. This is when you're watching your significant other, have sex with other people, or even sometimes help, So, yeah, I have actually been in a cuckold, but it was with two girls. There was a girl who wanted me to have sex with her girlfriend, and she was in the corner touching herself, It was. I'll tell you the story about that one later. But yeah, that was the first time I ever was introduced to it. Was when I was in Iowa. Iowa is a very those corn. What was it? I wouldn't want to say those cornbread people, but those trailer park areas, they believe in stuff like that. What's going on, YouTubian? How's everything? How's Texas treating you? This is my new channel for the other podcast that I have. So definitely, I got two podcasts now: the Bronze Reaper podcast and Sincerely My Paramour podcast. I will make a not a banner, but I will make a display for it later, so it will be in the back of this. But right now we're just mostly talking. Let me ask you and Kwame a question. This topic question that I just finished talking about, I'm gonna ask you: are women with high sex history wife material? you know. And when you answer, I'll get back with you. So take your time. Oh yeah, it's hot. It's hot outside, man. I know you're in Texas, and it's probably like 105 at least, because it's like 94 in Massachusetts. Yeah, it's like 94 in Massachusetts. So y'all probably in the hundreds. Um, but yeah, that was the first time I've ever been introduced to Cuckold. What's going on, E. Williams? This is a new channel for Sincerely My Paramour. We will do Bronze Reaper tomorrow or tonight before I go to work. That's why it's a little bit early. You know, we getting busy right now with this. Um, but yeah, you'll be surprised like how how to explain. You'll be surprised how like certain things like in that lifestyle is acceptable. You know, that's why when you look at Adam 22, like he's kind of not he. The only thing that's difference between him and Diddy is that he don't have as much as money as Diddy. Diddy has a lot of money. Diddy was a billionaire. He might get taken down to like 600 million easily. Give me a second, everyone. Easily, he might get taken down to 600 million. Give me a second. You know, and me, I wouldn't personally would do a cuckold with my partner, and the reason why it's just it'll be uncomfortable. A person who has tried it was Sneeko. Sneeko has tried it. He was at a swingers party, and he let somebody bang his girlfriend. I think they broke up because of it too. Give me a second. Yeah, so it's a like I said, it's a very weird situation. Um, I like I said, I did something for a girl. Like even when I had clients for actually, because I was a mistress, I was a professional where you know women. Let me tell you something. When women mess with men on a back page and stuff and buy male escorts, it's personally for companionship. You know, they probably and because I'm writing the script. I'm always writing, so if y'all notice, I always write. I have this scene that I want. This is a short story that I do want to tell. It's about a woman it's called Top Tier Lover. It's about a man. I mean, it's about this woman, very powerful, very beautiful, take no shit from no man. And one of her darkest secrets is that she pays for this guy's time to spend with her, to be dominant, be a leader, like sexually. And like she kisses him and everything. She makes love to him. He takes control in this situation where in her life, in her real world, she always has to take control. She's always the leader. Any messed up that she has falls on her. So her dark secret is she has this man come and control her life, control her sexually. Not humiliate her. I didn't want to go that far with the short film, but this situation it's super dope. I mean this short film is super dope. Um, I think it's gonna be another episode to it too, cause I know I already told somebody I did want to make a movie out of this, but it's an adult entertainment movie. But I don't want to put this out. So put it this way, I will put it out, but I will have to be dead for 20 years to put this video out. If I ever created it, it will be on a disc in a fucking in a trust. When I mean in a trust where only somebody can get it like 20 years later after I have been gone. I don't care. You know, so just to say I'm the greatest producer, film director of all times. That's why I would put that shit out. Oh my god. It's like just like it's crazy. But yeah, there's jobs like that that's out here for men, like escorts and shit like that. Sometimes it's not always sexual. It's attention, person to treat you like a woman. Don't forget, if you're a businesswoman and you're like a CEO or a chairwoman or a congresswoman, you never get treated like a woman. You don't know how it feels to be a woman. They treat you like actually an equal. Sometimes being an equal isn't all out as it's cut to be, cut and sliced to be. Um, and this was where this cuckold comes from. There's far out more stuff worse than this. There's some men that are rich. They like to be humiliated. Like a bitch will put their foot in their mouth and stuff like, yeah, lick my feet. Lick the bottom of my feet, you fucking pig. Yeah, there's women like that. They call those dominatrix. You ain't worth shit, and spit on him. Give him a dog mask and everything. With a chain, a leash or something like that. Yeah, it's like that, man. I have seen that world, man. That world is crazy, man. Like, that's why I said when I had clients, like, I was never an escort. I was just a mistress. They just pay me for attention. And, like, say if you wanted a good, say if you're looking for a person to bring somewhere because nobody never see you with nobody, they would call me. Like, oh, yeah, can you come to this event with me? Yeah, of course. Why not? Buy you clothes. They'll pay you for it, man. These are jobs. Like, yo, these are jobs that people actually really get paid. That's why when people hear about Punisher, I'm not surprised. All that stuff he said, I'm not surprised. There's a lot of people like Diddy out here. And I'm going to say this. I honestly think Adam 22 is he's similar. He does some certain shit like that. You don't think Adam 22 had orgies with his wife, passing his wife around and stuff like that? And yeah, they have. They had to. Paying for other girls to join in and stuff like that. Yeah, Diddy was doing the same thing. But he was doing it with men. He was paying men to sleep with his wife. But those experiences is crazy because at the end of the day, this is the stuff that gets people off, and I feel like this. I feel disingenuous if I say that, like, yo, you know what? I can't judge them. And the reason why I can't judge them because that's their lifestyle. I shouldn't be like, oh yeah, your lifestyle is weird. This is what you like to do. It's just not my cup of tea. What, I look at the person different? Not really, but I personally think Diddy was I think Diddy was groomed to do that. I don't know who groomed him, but somebody groomed him. That's not normal because even like, yo, when he was getting raided and stuff. After the raid was over and they took everything that they wanted to take, he was still doing these freak offs. He was still do. He had they caught him with a whole bunch of baby oil. He like when women have baby oil on them. But at the end of the day, that's a porn thing. That's a adult entertainment thing. With the baby oil, and that's kind of old school too. I remember back in the days, women when I used to watch it with my ex, women used to soak themselves. Even men soak themselves in baby oil. Men and women did that. You know, and I'm not gonna look at him as a freak. And I don't like to use that. I don't like to say that about Diddy because at the end of the day, only thing I think he should get charged for is slapping the shit out of Cassie. But there's statute to limitations. Like, why do this at the end after he already paid you 30 million? Cause you know why? She still wants to put out that book. She still wants to put out that book. She's itching. You gotta look at it. If this motherfucker goes to jail, she probably might have. She might be able to put out the book. You know, but I would say this though. I think Cassie's very disingenuous. She's making it seem like she was forced to do that, and there's a lot of people that do it. Even a lot of celebrities. A lot of celebrities like to watch their women or their their partner, insignificant others do this. Be put in these acts. Like it's nothing like crazy. It's just this is what they like. Like that's why I was telling one of my coworkers. I was like, yo, what Diddy was doing, there's nothing wrong with them doing that. It's just if he forced somebody to do it, then there's a problem. But I don't think he forced anybody to do anything. I don't think he forced anybody. I think these people wanted to do that. These women wanted to do that, and we really can't get mad at what these people wanted to do. I just wish that it was in a hush where it's nobody, because technically it's nobody's business, but this shit is out here and a lot of people do it. You go to these swinger parties, and these swinger parties in the New England, they be lit. I have been to a New Hampshire and Rhode Island swingers party. I love it, but at the end of the day, I haven't went in like 10, 15 years. It's very interesting. So if you're single and you want to see something different, you want to, enjoy yourself, this is a great thing to do or a great experience. Give me a second. Mm, but yeah, but this is very normal, and it's very normal in California. The reason why I say it's very normal in California because they have a gated community where only way you could get in if people let you in. I think it's big in Calabasas too. I is it Calabasas is big in? I think it is big in Calabasas. You just got to know the right people. If you don't know the right people and you're to yourself, then you're not gonna know what's going on. You're not gonna see the freakiness and stuff. And people who make way more money than in Calabasas, the people who live in them hills. That's where those parties really are in them hills. So the ones that burnt down, yeah. The Solomon and Glamora stuff happens in there. Guys sleeping with guys. Guys is watching their wives are watching their husbands sleep with other guys, and other guys bring it. And they invite escorts too. These are people pay for these escorts and stuff like that. And I'm gonna tell you this: I wouldn't be surprised if a minor slipped in those parties. Minors be slipping in there without getting their ID check, or somebody, or they're like a guest or something like that. and people wouldn't know. Yeah, that shit happens. You know, it's um. But yeah, this stuff right here, it's not new. I'll tell you a story. I'll tell you a story, and I'm gonna let everyone go. Um, Give me a second. So there was this girl that I met when I worked at Boston Medical, the science lab. I was walking and she was like, "Oh yeah, you're very beautiful." She's like, "You work?" I was like, "Yeah, I got a job and stuff like that." And this is when I started Paramore, and I call I call it Paramore because it's just you're just being a male mistress. But I got paid for doing this stuff, you know. And like I wasn't in no back pages or anything like that. It was always word of mouth. So yeah. Um, and she was like, "Oh," she was like, "Oh," I was like, "Hey, you want to go?" And something told me like, "Yo, let's go out for ask her for a cup of coffee." So she was like, "Yeah, we can go out for a cup of coffee." I always do coffee dates. I love coffee dates. I don't know why. I just love coffee dates. Coffee and tea dates with a pastry, and you do the little mom and pops coffee places. Um, so we're eating and stuff. She was like, "Well, just so I don't give you the wrong idea, I'm in a relationship." I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's cool and stuff." I was like, "I got a little business and stuff like that I'm doing and stuff." She's like, "Oh, what you do?" I'm like, I'm a mistress." He's like, "What do you mean a mistress?" So like, if you ever need like attention, entertainment, need me to go anywhere with you, yeah, I'll go with you. You just gotta pay for that. You know, and she was saying like, "Yo," she started talking about her girlfriend, and I didn't know that she was talking about her girlfriend until she said my girl. I was like, "What? Oh, your girlfriend?" I was like, "Oh, so you're a lesbian?" She's like, "I'm technically bisexual, but yeah." She's like, "Yo, can I ask you for a favor?" I was like, "Yeah, it depends on what it is." And she's like, "Would you have sex with my girlfriend?" I was like, "I don't know if I wanted to do that." I told her the same story that I told you about in Iowa, and she was like, "I'll pay you for it. It's just, I want her to experience what I experienced." She's like, "Yo, you're beautiful." She called me beautiful and wanted her girlfriend to enjoy someone because last guy she messed with was fat and didn't look good. Um, Drug dealer, wasn't unattractive. And she was like, "I just want you to show her a time of your life. I want you to enjoy I want her to enjoy the conversations that I have with you with her." If I said it right. I was like, "Okay, cool. I don't mind that." We went out. We all three of us went out. We went partying. Um, we got lit. They ordered a hotel and everything. It was a nice hotel. It was in the financial district, like the seaport area, and like they would still drink. They still had liquor in a hotel. I was like, "Yo, this is dope." Then what she did was she sat in a chair in a corner, and her girlfriend got on top of me and was kissing me, and she was just watching, and like, yo, it didn't go left, but it just got wild. I'm not gonna tell you all the details because um I don't want to be like that type of person, but yeah. There's certain things I will tell you details, but stuff like this happens a lot. People want certain things of this. You think? Let me tell you something. If they didn't get escorts, they would have got strippers to do this. You know, and certain strippers will do that. I know certain strippers that was having three ways with basketball players in strip clubs. Yeah, Yes. Paid them $1,000 each, everything, yeah. But yeah, it gets crazy, man. And what's so dope about it too? The other girl joined, so it went from a cuckold to a three way. You'd be surprised, man. Like what women really think, man. I think they should do a study on women, women's sexual thoughts. I think that would be super cool. And the reason why is I think women are very interesting people. And I think people need to appreciate them a little bit more because women yeah, they're different, but you could see the value in them. I don't think women are not valuable. I think hold on. Hold on one second. So yeah, you'd be surprised, man. Like women are very, and let me tell you when I started, like I always had a good respect for women, and it was because of my grandmother. My grandmother's a southerner, and you start to see why, like, women back in those days carry themselves the way that they carry themselves. Like back in those days, there was some promiscuous women back in the days. They had their kids. Yo, promiscuous women had married men kids. And it was all right. It's just as you gotta keep your mouth shut. That's why, like 30, 40 years later, 20 years later, kids is popping out the woodwork. You know, happened to my grandfather. That's why I always tell people all the time. I wouldn't be surprised if I got kids out here. Give me a second. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if I have kids out here and stuff. And the reason why, I love women. Women are, I think, very. There's so much beautiful things about women and stuff, but this cuckold thing and stuff, um, I don't think I can do it though. It'll be too much for me. Watching somebody, sleep with my girl. And with the cuckold, you're watching somebody better than you, bigger than you, more experienced than you sleep with their wife or their girlfriend or their loved ones. So it's a whole new world, man. That's a different world in society that people don't need to know. You know, first people's gonna pass judgments. Second, people are not gonna understand. Third, it's gonna be like this. You see how the world is so judgmental? We have these podcasters talking about women and they never really had sex with women like that. Like, let's personally be honest. You think Myron Gaines really had like a high sex um history before Fresh and Fit? No. I don't even think he had a high sex history when he was a Homeland Security agent. It's just you can just tell he got loser mannerisms. You know, you know. It's just he's a loser. He always been a loser, and this is why people are being exposed. Like these big podcasters and these big rappers and stuff like that, if they were losers in college, in the high school and stuff, they're gonna be a loser now, and people are gonna expose that. You know, like I always tell people all the time, my coolness came when I started modeling. I didn't even think I was sexy when I was younger. I thought I was all right. I didn't know why women liked me, so I always felt like a nerd. But but when people see my prom date, they was like, "Yo, how the fuck you get her?" Like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It just happened. I don't know what these girls look at me from. Then after that, I started to notice. I was like, "Yo, I'm beautiful." People asking me to model for them, do runway for them and stuff. And I'm like, "Oh shit, I am beautiful." I didn't know. I had to learn when I was 21 that I was 2019, no, 2021 that I was beautiful, that I looked good. I didn't have to dress. And after that, once I knew I was beautiful, I just knew that I didn't have to dress like a hood dude no more. I started dressing in slim fit clothes. I was probably the first one in my hood or in like Boston, really like in the hood of Boston, to wear Express, to wear slim fit pants, to wear fucking Alexander McQueen clothes. Nobody didn't know about that stuff. Everybody thought they had to wear the long basketball jerseys. Then after that, people skipped what I was doing and went into the rock and roll shit, the heavy metal look. And I was wearing slim fit clothes with the Michael Jackson glasses and shit like that, or the ones that people the glasses that people are wearing now, not the funny looking ones, the wafos, I think they'll call. Yeah, I was the first one to do all of that in Boston. Like technically in Boston, yeah, I was the first one to do it. Like I was the one to I was the first one to introduce people to that shit. I introduced people to that shit. Nobody didn't know nothing about that. You know? It's just like my horizons was different because only people that probably even knew about that or probably knew how I was dressing or knew about my dressing was metro people and probably homosexuals, you know? They was like, "Yo, you dress real good. Who taught you how to dress?" And like gay people was taking my style half the time, you know? And they overdid it, but it's cool. I didn't mind it. I felt like yo, I'm bringing something that nobody hasn't seen in the hood. That's why when I was selling weed, I always dressed so preppy. People didn't even know I was selling weed. Cops didn't know I was selling weed. They was like, "Oh, look at this kid's longboarding. Why the fuck is he longboarding? What is he doing around here longboarding?" You know? It's just, that's why when I dress how I dress now, I care, but then I don't care. I dress in sweatpants because at the end of the day, nothing interests me no more. No clothes, no fashion really satisfies me like that, you know? It's just, it is what it is. It's so bad that I wear Sheen. I'm like, yo, I don't like Balenciaga. It's kind of weird. Gucci is kind of satanic. What's that? Jesus Christ. Like some of that stuff is satanic. And like I know about witchcraft and stuff because when I was going to these parties and stuff like that, there is some CEOs and some other people that overdo it. And when I mean by overdo it, there has people have taken advantage of that sex world life in fashion, modeling, rap, music. We'll just say music, entertainment in general. People take advantage of those type of people who are trying to get to the top sexually, you know. And I feel like it has been consent. It is consent, but at the end of the day, you doing it to get to the top. And a lot of people have done that. That's why people be saying that, like, people have sacrificed themselves. Do I believe in that? I have seen it, you know, and I will tell you I have seen it, you know. But it's like I said, it's a part of the way of how people got to the top. Because if you look at certain people who are in the modeling industry, look at people who are in the music industry, you'd be like, yo, how the hell they became an artist? What did they do to become an artist? Why is this person going solo and they're not even that talented? You know? Like I said, it's in that era, everybody has a price. You know, I per se, that's the reason why I didn't even want to model no more. That's why sometimes I'm not even satisfied of doing things anymore. You know, I like sometimes have to force myself to do certain things. Like sometimes work, I gotta go to work. Sometimes I have to force myself to go to work. Go to training sometimes is because certain people rub me the wrong way, and I was like, yeah, I don't want to do this no more, man. I don't want to do this, do that. It's just, it sucks. It hurts because this is what I like to do. This is what I like to talk about, but it's sad because at the end of the day, you see so many people sacrificing their soul to be this person that's great. And if you're not, and if people, to me, if they don't see that you're great, they never really thought you was great in the first place. That means they could take that shit from you. Like, look at Nas. People talking about Nas and Jim Jones. Nobody can't take nothing from Nas. Nobody can't say, oh yeah, they gave something to Nas. Nas worked hard for it. Jim Jones worked hard for it, but at the end of the day, he had somebody to lean on. He had Cameron. He had Big L. He had Mace. Even though Mace and Jim Jones didn't fuck with each other, but they were from the same same town, Harlem. Well, technically he's from Bronx, but he's from Harlem. You know, it comes with the territory, man, and it sucks. You know, I want to thank everybody for watching my first episode of the Sincerely My Paramour. I appreciate everything. I'm gonna try to figure out how can I make this easy where we know this is Sincerely My Paramour and this is the Bronze Reaper podcast. I will figure it out, and I'm sorry that it's kind of confusing, but we'll figure it out some way, somehow. I want to thank Jeff. I want to thank YouTubian. I want to thank E. Williams, Kwame, and other people who was in it. I'm sorry, I can't see it. Oh yeah, Black T and Rando. And I want to thank the Bronze Reapers audience that usually watch the Bronze Reaper and came into here to support me. Thank you. I do appreciate it. And thank you. We're going to do the Bronze Reaper tomorrow or tonight or later, like in the next 15, 20 minutes. Probably tomorrow. I got to think of something.